This edition of the India Travel Show takes you on a conducted tour of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands with their meandering white beaches and a wealth of marine and coral life.
Then to the medieval kingdom of Orchha with its resplendent monuments and palaces, and Shivpuri, once the summer resort of the erstwhile rulers of Gwalior, today an attractive tourist resort.
Later to Hyderabad, a city which celebrated 400 years of a legacy which it carries even today with such confidence it has developed into a modern, thriving metropolis without losing the grace and charm of its pedigree.
Finally, a tour of Rajasthan, with its cattle fair at Pushkar, the rich heritage of its past rulers of Jodhpur and Udaipur, and the incredible desert landscape of Jaisalmer.
A group of 350 odd islands in the Bay of Bengal, scattered over 8,000 square kilometers, only 2 hours flight time from the port city of Calcutta. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands is perhaps the most secluded tourist resort in India. This privacy from the mainland has allowed it to retain its pristine beauty. The undulating islands, once a hill range that extended from Burma to Indonesia, today boasts of white beaches that meander along its coastline. The swaying palm trees and the horizon of the sea that seems to stretch out to infinity gives the islands a tranquil charm. For the sun worshippers and the beach lovers, Andaman and Nicobar provides the most enchanting holiday setting. The coastal waters surrounding these islands are the abode of India's richest coral reef ecosystem. And it is in Jolly Boy Island that one can witness the most breathtaking view of underwater coral and marine life. Glass-bottom boats, organized by the tourism department, help the visitor to take a close-up look of these coral colonies. Later, the beaches provide an ideal location for sunbathing and frolic in the sea. However, to many Indians, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands have a poignant relevance far removed from its natural splendor. For a long period in time, these islands were mere geographical dots on the map of the British Empire. But after the first Sepoy Mutiny in 1857, the British found a rather coarse use for them. Thousands of freedom fighters were sent to the massive ramparts of the cellular jail to languish in solitary confinement for years. Many for their entire lifetime. This jail had been specially built to accommodate those Indians opposed to the British Raj, and along with them were bundled to the prison thousands of hardened criminals. Soon, for most Indians, Andaman and Nicobar was synonymous with a gruesome cellular jail and was referred to as Kala Pani. To commemorate the saga of those who perished and were confined in these intimidating bastions only because they dared to fight for the freedom from colonial rule, today the cellular jail of Andaman has been declared a historic monument. However, the majority of visitors who come to this Emerald Island paradise come for the sea and the breeze, the beaches and the sun. Every island here has its special charm, and each comes with mesmerizing sunsets and stunning picture postcard views. Modern amenities give the travelers a chance to experience island life and its unhurried pace. The decor and the design of these island retreats has very subtly integrated the uncluttered feel of the environment. The rooms strategically designed to give the view of the vast expanse of the white sands and the sapphire seas. Island holidays are not complete without harbour cruises, and the Andaman Islands have developed these facilities. The cruises take the tourist through the forest creeks to the natural aquarium in the sea with its wealth of marine life. For those adventurous enough to go scuba diving, these facilities are also available and being used enthusiastically. Snorkeling has become a favorite of the holiday seekers. There is a concerted attempt to boost tourism in these islands, but not at the expense of the ecology. And a judicious balance is being maintained to ensure that the influx of tourists does not destroy the very unspoiled temperament which draws these visitors to the islands of Andaman and Nicobar.
Indian Airlines flights connect the town of Port Blair in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands with Calcutta and Madras. Ships carrying passengers sail between Port Blair in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands and the ports of Calcutta, Madras and Visakhapatnam. The region of Bundelkhand covers a large portion of central India between the states of present-day Uttar and Madhya Pradesh. History has been generous to it, and the land is the inheritor of exploits of its proud rulers, resonating with narratives of the heroic battles of the warrior kings who once reigned supreme. Like all historical legacies, however, only the monuments and abandoned palaces bear testimony today to the forgotten glory. The edifice of their imposing structures reveal both architectural maturity and obsessive grandeur. In the medieval city of Orchha, 120 kilometers from Gwalior, the Jahangir Palace, built in the 17th century to commemorate the visit of the Mughal Emperor Jahangir, symbolizes the resplendent nobility of the Orchha kings. In the intricate trellis work, or the ornamental dome-like structures, a part of history of the Bundelkhand region remains frozen in time. The Ala singers are balladeers who, in a unique folk tradition of this region, celebrate the heroism and bravery of the bygone era. The royalty whose macho exploits created new myths and legends, and in whose tumultuous deeds the inhabitants bask in reflected glory. It was in this stretch of land along the river Betwa that Orchha was founded in the 16th century by the Bundela chieftains. The succeeding rulers built the graceful chhatris, the cenotaphs, commemorating the royal family. The more compelling evidence of enlightened royal patronage is found in the art of Orchha, much of which has survived the grim and relentless erosion of time. These elaborately painted ceilings are testimony not only to the refined art of that era, but also the indulgence to its promotion by the kings and noble households. Mythologies and epics are searched out and interpreted in the visual style of the Bundela school of painting. The vibrant murals and paintings remind the visitor of the rich historical past of Bundelkhand.
Orchha is connected by air via Gwalior, which is the nearest airport, only 120 kilometers away. The nearest railhead is Jhansi, 19 kilometers away. Orchha lies on the Jhansi-Khajuraho road and is thus connected to other parts of the country.
Just an hour's drive from Gwalior is Shivpuri, the summer capital of the royal family of Scindia. The ambience of leisure and the luxuriant forest all around makes the Madhav National Park in Shivpuri the central tourist attraction. This park, with its rich deciduous forests, is home to a variety of wildlife species. In the artificial lakes in the park, a large number of avifauna inhabit the wide rock stream which crosses the forest track. For the tourist, the Shivpuri tourist village becomes an ideal base camp to enjoy the wealth of flora and fauna in the Madhav National Park, or to simply relax and unwind in the pristine natural environment. Set against a sylvan backdrop of forests and lakes, the 20 cottages here are elegant and comfortably furnished. Here in Shivpuri also, set in a formal Mughal garden with quiet nooks, intersected by pathways and ornamental balustrades, is the architectural masterpiece, the complex in which the cenotaphs of the Scindias are set. The glittering white marble surface of these chhatris are inlaid with precious gems and embellished by delicate trellis and exquisite workmanship. To this day, every evening, the deep hush of twilight is broken by the sound of music. As the artists of the Gwalior Gharana render classical ragas, transporting the tourist into the graciousness of the past. The Orchha circuit thus becomes a pilgrimage into the shadows of central India's golden age. And from the ramparts and bastions of the forts and monuments emerges through the haze of history the pomp and the pageantry of a bygone era, the passion and the grandeur bequeathed to the land by its rulers.
Daily Indian Airlines flights from Delhi, Bombay and Bhopal connect the airport at Gwalior, 112 kilometers away from Shivpuri. The nearest major railhead is at Gwalior too. And bus services connect Shivpuri with Gwalior, Bhopal and Jhansi.
A few miles from the city of Hyderabad in Andhra Pradesh stands the imposing facade of the Golconda Fort. The forbidding ramparts and silent cannons of this medieval bastion once kept at bay potential invaders. and a special acoustic system designed within the stone structure was a part of its security system. Guards at the entry gate could give advance warning of unwelcome visitors by simply clapping their hands. The acoustic allowed the sound to travel to the highest turrets and terrace some 350 feet above. The Golconda Fort, built in the 16th century by Muhammad Quli Qutub Shah, is today not only a tourist spot, it is the evidence of Hyderabad's pedigree. For it was during this same period in the late 16th century that Hyderabad itself was founded. These links with generous historical references gives the city of Hyderabad, today the capital of the state of Andhra Pradesh, a legacy it carries with supreme self-confidence. Over the years, the city has kept its cultural roots intact and developed into a thriving industrial metropolis. The Charminar in the heart of old Hyderabad is its most famous monument, a visual motif which has come to symbolize the city itself. The four minarets of the imposing Charminar, built in the turn of the century, has spawned around it the hustle and bustle of an oriental market. Most famous being the Lad Bazaar, celebrated for its display of lacquer bangles. Bangles which are ornaments for young ladies, many of whom come here for their wedding trousseau shopping. For Lad Bazaar is also well known for the delicate lace and zardozi or gold thread work. But when it comes to jewelry, Hyderabad is renowned for its pearls. Pearls which come from China and Japan, and earlier even from Basra in the Middle East, to be embellished and threaded here by skilled craftsmen, a testimony to the rich handicraft tradition of this city. Hyderabad's tradition in many ways was influenced by its Muslim rulers. The city was governed by the Nizam, whose opulence and lavish lifestyle allowed so much art, craft and culture to flourish. The Nizams had been important chroniclers and archivists of the city, and it was their patronage which gave the metropolis its old-world charm and courtesy. Today, modern Hyderabad quite adequately bears the compulsions of its visitors. Posh and luxury hotels with all amenities and comforts coexist with pubs for the young at heart looking for an evening out. And in the famous Hussain Sagar Lake, a marina-like system is being developed so that visitors can spend the day boating in the picturesque locale. Yet, ultimately, the city goes back to its history to give the traveller that indelible impression. And nothing is more stunning than the Qutub Shahi tombs which stand out against the Hyderabad sky. These stately mausoleums for the emperors who once ruled this area are patterned as domes on square bases and surrounded by arcades of pointed arches. The text of the Holy Quran is inscribed in delicate calligraphy on their walls. Hyderabad remains faithful to its past just as it is loyal to its present, drawing its unique identity from that wheel whose weft is its historical tradition and whose warp is its modernism.
Hyderabad is well connected with all major Indian cities by the National Highway. Indian Airlines and other private air taxis connect Hyderabad with other major Indian cities. The Indian Railways connects Hyderabad with major cities throughout the country.
If one common element weaves through the numerous festivals and fairs in India, it is the sheer explosion of color and the endless surge of pilgrims. The synergy of sight and sound makes the festivals of rural India as vivid as they are stimulating. On the full moon of the month of Kartik by the Hindu almanac, October-November as per the solar calendar, a lake 11 kilometers from the town of Ajmer in Rajasthan becomes the setting for one such festival, a festival where the most unusual collection of pilgrims and traders congregate. The pilgrims come to bathe in the historic lake of Pushkar, a lake whose sanctity has been conferred on it by religious mythology. And for these devout believers, a holy dip during this sacred period brings them a step closer to salvation and moksha. Because it was on this spot that Brahma, the supreme creator, performed a Vedic yagna. Today, a major temple honoring Lord Brahma is situated here, perhaps the only temple dedicated to the Lord of the universe. For the traders who come from far and near, Pushkar becomes vital for a more mundane reason. During the next 5 days, the best collection of camels and cattle will be on display here for buying and selling. In the desert landscape of Rajasthan, camels play a significant role. They are the beasts of burden and the principal vehicle of transportation in the rural settings. Here in Pushkar, the camels form a dominant motif and almost become the symbol for the cattle fair. But over the years, Pushkar has become a pilgrimage for many others, only to savor the sights and sounds of the bazaar. Tourists from all over the world descend on this tiny village to enjoy the scenes and imbibe the atmosphere. For these select guests, special tents have been erected, designer tents which have all amenities including for the fastidious traveler. The festival is also carnival time for the local inhabitants, with Ferris wheels, curio stalls and even an adventurous hot air balloonist against the dazzling blue sky as source of entertainment. In the evening, the religious character of the fair gets underlined by a dramatic display of the firewalkers. The leap of faith is adequately demonstrated as the pilgrims tread hot burning coal and come out unscalded. The burning embers and the sparkle of flames dancing out when the devout march through it in a courageous display of absolute and unconditional belief. If religious significance gives Pushkar its rationale, it is the sheer exotica that allows it to prosper. The fascinating images of a palpable and living culture brings back the pilgrims and tourists every year.
The crowd Across this desert terrain, caravans from Central Asia once moved in search for business and barter, and in their wake flourished medieval kingdoms whose legacy is remembered to this day in the culture and folk music of the land. Music which is sung by bards and minstrels using every conceivable instrument.
The camel entourages that crossed these horizons in days gone by are still among the most familiar images of Rajasthan. The fortresses and palaces are rich repositories of legend, evidence of the glory of a bygone era. For Rajasthan is replete with tales of valor and bravery, of mythology and epics. Ruled by the Rajput kings, patrons of art and architecture, and proud defenders of their stylish way of life, it is this boldness of the Rajput spirit that pervaded the culture, allowing it to survive the onslaught of invaders and even the enticements of the modern age.
The seemingly inhospitable landscape of Rajasthan is enlivened by the melange of colours that one finds in the dresses and turbans of the local men and women. And in the Havelis of Shekhawati, prominent business families have adorned the walls and facades of their homes with bright mural paintings which extol the saga of their lineage and even portray details from the folklore of the region. These Havelis have ornately carved doors and windows, some of them being restored diligently to their original splendour.
These fabulous homes and palaces are today being converted into heritage hotels for tourists. Heritage hotels are those palaces, forts and havelis which by government decree must keep intact the facade and furnishings of the original, including the antiques. Converted into luxury suites and rooms with the addition of modern amenities, these heritage hotels allow visitors to sample the graciousness and opulence of Rajasthan's glory without sacrificing their daily comforts.
In Udaipur, the palace of the local Maharaja, set in the scenic lake, is one of the more popular of tourist destinations. The Lake Palace is famous as a luxury hotel, renowned for its unique collection of artifacts and art objects.
The Umaid Bhavan Palace of Jodhpur, an overnight journey from Delhi by train, is once again not just the residence of the erstwhile ruler of the region. A section of the palace, with all the antique conversation pieces intact, has been converted into one of Rajasthan's most glamorous hotels. For the visitor, the hotel even provides a crash course in Rajasthani culture. Set amidst the campfire and sumptuous array of buffet dinner, local music and dance transports the visitor to enjoy the fable and fantasy of Rajasthani lifestyle.
But no visit to Jodhpur is complete without a trip to the imposing Mehrangarh Fort. This impressive fortress commands an eagle's eye view of the city of Jodhpur and was built at this strategic location to keep at bay the armies of invaders.
For most tourists, however, Rajasthan is synonymous with the desert festival of Jaisalmer. Jaisalmer, at the western edge of the state. The golden fort of Jaisalmer, burnished by the glow of the evening sun, has a mythical quality.
a quality shared by this quaint town, whose narrow streets and bylanes have been converted into a veritable marketplace with trinkets, local fabrics, textiles and handicrafts. The Havelis of Jaisalmer, with their ornate facades, were once the pride of the rich merchants who lived here. Today, these intricately carved structures still stand, saluting the artistry and craftsmanship of their builders. But Jaisalmer is a desert town, and like all desert civilizations, music, dance and celebrations form a central theme of the prevalent lifestyle. Here in Jaisalmer, all this is found in great and natural abundance, amidst the most stunning desert backdrop.
Rajasthan and its various districts give one an opportunity to savor a magical mystery tour, a tour of a civilization whose continuity and majesty leaves an indelible and lasting impression on the visitor. Jaipur, the capital city of Rajasthan, is connected by air with major cities of India and other towns in the state. Rail services from Delhi link Jaipur, which is a major railway junction for other parts of Rajasthan. The town of Jaipur is linked to other parts of Rajasthan by a network of roads.